السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. مرحبا بكم أيها الطلاب الكرام. اليوم سنأخذ الأجوبة للأسئلة للاختبار السادس. Today we're going to take the answers to the questions for chapter 6. For numbers 1 through 5, they vary in how much each question is, but what we're going to do, Sha Allah, is tell you how much each one is worth once we give you the answer. So, for number 1, whose car is this? You should write لمن هذه السيارة. Now, each word is worth 1 point, which makes this question worth 3 points. After that, if you were to have a spelling error, you're going to lose half a point. If you miss a whole word in its entirety, you miss 1 point. So a spelling error, you're going to miss half. If you miss a whole word, you're going to miss a whole point. Okay? When it comes time for put the haraka on there, we'll explain what you're going to miss in that case. So, question 1, worth 3 points. السؤال الثاني. What is this? It is an iron. So, you should answer ما هذه. Again, you need to make sure that this is هذه and not هذا. If it is هذا, we're going to give you just half a point off. So you say ما هذا, or I'm sorry, ما هذه. هذه مكواة. Because mikwa is feminine, so essentially the هذهs need to be, or the ism ishara need to be feminine. So 1, 2, 3, 4, worth 4 points. السؤال الثالث. For whom is this? This is for Khalid. Now here is a little bit of flexibility. It says لمن هذا. هذا لخالد. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4. This too is also worth 4 points. If you miss one of the words, you lose a point. If you get some spelling wrong, you miss half a point. So for example, if you wrote لخالد, let's say you wrote it as لحالد without the dot. That's a spelling error. You lose half a point. Let's say for هذا, you did not write هذا. You actually wrote something else. You wrote هذا, which actually people have done. They've turned this letter into a ha. That's a half a point gone. When I said there's a little bit of flexibility, it means here. The question in English just simply says, whose or for whom is this? It didn't explain anything here to say if it's masculine or feminine. So if you write لمن هذه, هذه لخالد, you're okay, because the question didn't require you to specify if it was masculine or feminine. Now, number 4, السؤال الرابع. السؤال الرابع, it's worth 7 points because there's a lot happening in it. So, the first thing, he says, is this Anas's bicycle? So you would say, the word bicycle is mu'annath, so that means the word this must also be mu'annath. So I would say, أهذه دراجة أنس. Okay? Is this Anas's bicycle? Now, is it possible you can say, push هذه somewhere else, and you can say الدراجة أنس, and then you put هذه all the way at the end? Your sentence here is still valid, it's still accurate, so the answer would also be correct. I'm not happy with this Hamza. All right, so if you happen to put هذه at the very end, and then you put daraja and anas here to where it says adarraja to anasin هذه, it is fine. Next comes the second part of the sentence where they say no, la. It is Ammar. Now it's important to recognize that it says it is and not this is. So you're not going to reuse هذه. Rather, you are going to say la hiya. And now you're going to say li'ammarin. Ain mim. So this word hiya is for it. Okay? It is. And if we were to reuse هذه here, you will have gotten a whole word wrong. Now, this one is worth 7 points. For number 5, I think I can fit it there. It says, this is Ali's watch. It is very beautiful. So we're going to say هذه ساعة علي. Right? Again, it says it is and not this is. هي جميلة. And it says very. هي جميلة جدا. This here is worth 6 points. And that is number 5 that's the end of 5. All of these are worth 24 points, inshallah, if we added them correctly. Now we'll move on to the next segment. This next segment, it says use the correct ism ishara to point to the following objects. This is pretty easy. I don't even think we need to write them on the board. For questions 6, 7, 8, and 9, they are worth 1 point each. You should say, for number 6, هذا أنف, because you only have one nose, and we said that you're going to use هذا for when you only have one of something. When you have two of something, you use هذه for body parts. هذا فم, this is a mouth. هذه ملعقة. هذه قدر. قدر, we said, is one of those words that goes out of the norm, just like the word ard and dunya, I believe, where they go out of the norm and there's not like a ta or some alama, some symbol to show that it's feminine. So you should say هذه قدر. And number 10 is worth 2 points. And you should say هذه رجل, and it doesn't say رجل. And then you say هذه يد. That's worth 2 points. If you spell هذا or هذه with a ha instead of a ha, if you spell it with a ha instead of a ha, it is wrong. I mean, you lose half a point there. Correct? Incorrect. The next section, change these sentences, or that section is worth 6 points, the previous one from 6 to 10. And now this new one, change these sentences to the feminine state. This one is worth 10. And here there is some flexibility. He says, huwa muslimun. For number 11, you should say, hiya muslimatun. And that is worth 2 points. If there's a spelling error, you're going to lose half. If there is a missing word or an incorrect word, you will lose a whole point. Now, in the case that you might just put hiya muslim, we're going to consider that an incorrect word and not a spelling error because it is changing the meaning completely. So if you forget to put this ta, that's a whole missing point for the incorrect word. Number 12, it says ash-shayu harrun. Now, here, this is what I mean when there was a bit of flexibility. This is worth 2 points, by the way. where you can just put any beverage or anything that ends with a ta marbuta, right? But then you have to change the next word. So let's use the word qahwa since that is what we took in the class. Al-qahwatu harratun. All right, if you find something else, right, that is ending with a ta marbuta and you want to use harratun, that is fine. Just this has to be feminine and this needs to be changed to feminine as well. Also worth 2 points. Here it says al-abu jalisun, number 13. So instead of ab, let's say the mother. So you can say al-ummu, and you're not going to say jalisun anymore. You're going to say jalisatun. You have to end it with a ta marbuta. Can I use amma? Yeah. Can I use ukhtun? Yes, that's fine. That's why there is a bit of flexibility with that first word, as long as it is spelled correctly, as long as it is feminine. So, here, number 14, where it says al-babu mughlaqun. Al-babu mughlaqun. Let's change it to something else. How about al-haqibatu? Because we have to make it feminine. Al-haqibatu. Mughlaqatun. Al-haqibatu mughlaqatun. This is a double dot there. If you use a different word that is feminine, also, that is fine. Al-masjidu ba'idun, number 15. Let's make it al-madrasa. Al-madrasatu. Now, what are we going to say for the madrasa? Al-madrasatu ba'idatun. Ya. Ta. As long as you change the first word to a feminine, you're good, but you also must change the second word to something in the feminine state. These here are 2 points each. The whole section is worth 10 points. 16, 17, and 18. It should say, it says correct the following sentences. Number 16, it says, Haqibatu man hadha. The incorrect part is the word hadha. You should write hadhihi so it can match haqiba. Number 16 is hadhihi. That's where the mistake is. Number 17, al-kitabu maftuha. The thing that is incorrect is the word maftuha, and it should say maftuhun. Number 18, it says hadhihi baytu shaykh. Number 18 is hadhihi baytu shaykh. Like we said before, this tat needs to be gone. You have to pay attention to the things that are in masculine state or feminine state. So can you say the word bayt is masculine or feminine? It's masculine. So when you say this, it should say هذا بيت الشيخ and not هذه بيت الشيخ. Missing any one of these will mean you missed the entire question, and each one is worth 1 point. For 16 to 18, that is only worth 3 points. Last, it says place the haraka on the underlined words. And we have the word هذا. This is number 19. لياسر. You should place the haraka لياسرٍ. If you miss this, you don't miss half. You miss the entire question. And lastly, it says لله المشرق والمغرب. You have the word لله, or the name of Allah. لله. If you miss that kasra, you miss the entire point. Now, missing any one of these will mean you miss the entire point, and for questions 19 and 20, they are just worth 1 point each. So therefore, the entire test would amount to 45 points. If ideally what we want, like we said before, is that you know 85% of the material. So if you can manage to only miss 7 points, you should get around 84% or something like that. Passing grade is 80%. We don't accept less than 80% for passing, but I'd like for you guys to aim for 85 and higher. So if I believe if you manage to get 38 out of 45, that's close enough, and that should be for the range that we want you all to be at. So as always, اللهم علمنا ما ينفعنا وانفعنا بما علمتنا وزدنا علما وإلى اللقاء والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.